Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sitar Gurukul. In today's lesson, we are not going to learn a new tan. Rather, we are going to learn how we can make our previous tans sound a bit more professional. Now, what do I mean by sounding professional? So, I'm sure that all of you who have been following Sitar Gurukul and all of you who have been beginners of Sitar, by this time, I'm sure that you have heard quite mm, plenty of sitar players, international sitar players, great sitar players playing sitar. And when you compare what you have learned or what you can play uh, to their music, I'm sure you find yours quite childish. And that's completely fine because I can assure you that anyone who plays amazing sitar, including all the maestros that we listen to today, with all due respect, have been in your place at some point of their lives. And if you work hard enough, you're going to be great sitar players, all of you who have been learning sitar. But also, I should add that there is only so much I can do for you while teaching you like this over video where I can't interact with you. The best way, the only way you can learn sitar is when you have a guru or a teacher or a guide or a coach in front of you. So you already have learned 10 tans, you know how to tune the sitar, you know how to sit with the sitar. And I want to congratulate all of you who have made it till this far, because every one of you, I'm sure you already know that it's not an easy task. It's pretty difficult. And for any teacher, a student receiving a student who knows all this is great, and that teacher is for sure going to take you in just like that, just because he or she doesn't have to spend a lot of time just to teach you the proper way of sitting and playing what you play already. But for everything else, you have Sitar Gurukul, you have me. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you how to make your sound a bit more professional, especially with the tans that you have been playing. So the probably one of the most important way is if you have already learned how to play gamak and how to play mir. I can't stretch this enough that you need to be practicing every kind of mir that I have showed you, even if it means that you can't follow these lessons, because even though we upload lessons very frequently, it does not mean that you have to follow them frequently. Till here, all these 40 lessons that you have learned is actually a course content for at least 1 year. So you should be spending more time with the fundamentals, and these lessons are here to stay. So you can get them later all through your life, so that shouldn't be a problem. So the point is, do not rush. Rushing is going to make you miss a lot of detail on every practice, and it's going to cost you much later, and then you have to come back over here and then carry it forward, and that's going to cost you extra time, and we don't want that. So without further ado, I'm going to teach you almost on every tan that we have learned how to add gamaks or mirs here and there to make it sound more professional. So starting with the tan that we were learning, that starts the first tan that we numbered, which starts from dha, which was dhani re ga ma dhani re sani dha pa ma ga re sa. So we've been playing that on the frets, which is, if you can play this, you should start playing this portion on mir. Before I show you that, I need to tell you that we have been practicing 2 fret mir till now, and this specific exercise requires you to be able to play 3 fret mir. It's a great exercise for you to start learning how to do just that, but it's very important that the foundation for this is precise, otherwise it's going to create havoc on your fingers. And what I mean is, I stretched out the fact when I taught you the 2 fret mir on the sargam, which was, this you should have been practicing quite a lot, and if you think that you have reached a satisfactory level, then this exercise is for you. So we add one more stretch of mir and turn it into. So it's quite easy only if you have already you already know how to play the 2 fret mir with the sargam with the dhani sa. So here there's a little trick that you may not be able to find out on your own, so I'm going to help you with that. The rest you kind of have to figure it out on your own because I have already done the foundation for you. So dhani re, you don't really stand on re. What you do is you pull a mir till ni and then have a slight yank, a yank that is going to cross sa, and you have to draw a line where you want the limit of re to be. So you can't cross that limit. If you do, the re is going to sound out of tune. So a little secret is that you're not really playing a precise re, and you won't have the time to figure out where the perfect re is. What you can do is have your definition of perfection. And what I mean is, it's like English grammar. It's, if it doesn't sound right, it's probably not right. So it's the same with music, at least for now, at least for this lesson, as you're beginners. So you're going to have to yank a little, and what your fingers are going to memorize is the limit. So you're going to draw an imaginary line where you know that if you cross that line, it's not going to sound like re anymore. And then you have to just figure out while you return where the sa is. So I can slow it down for you, but if I play too slow, it's not going to retain that effect. So this is how you play this tan. If you think it's a bit too difficult for you, then skip this, no problem. You can perfect the sargam further and then return to this. But this is something that you also have to learn, because we need to be able to play at least 4 frets of mir if you want to be any good. But that can take time for as long as you want. You just have to get there someday. Coming back to the second tan, which starts from ni, which was ni re ga ma dha ni re sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa ni. And as you can already tell that it's the same exercise. So if you can play the one on the dha, you can play the one on the second tan that starts from ni. The third tan you should have already you should be able to already play, which is the sargam. So here, one more technique. That's the third tan. The fourth tan was the chut tan, the re sa ni sa dha pa ma pa ni dha pa ma ga re sa ni. This tan, you can always play the ni with the mir from here, and you're going to instantly notice that it's somewhat easier, and that extra bend over here does add a little flair to this tan, and it might make it sound professional. But I strongly recommend that you still play the way I showed you, the original way, because it's still a very good practice for a chut. And if you do it on the mir like I just showed you, it's going to add some flair for sure, but it's going to take away the flair of the chut. So I suggest that you skip this one. The third one, the fourth, so dha 1, ni 2, sa 3, and re 4. The fifth one, the fifth one, we are going to start from gama dhani sani dhapa ma dhapa ma ga re sa ni, and here you have a very good scope for a mir, which is, so we've been playing it like. Instead, you could take it on mir. So here's what I'm doing. And That goes the fifth tan. And now for the next tan, which was Madani da Madani Sani da Pamagare Sani. This also I think you should not play on Mir. Rather, you could start to play it faster, because that slide, the ghasit over here, it's gonna sound beautiful. So we're not doing any modifications over here. The rest of the tans, I think you should just keep it the same way that they are. But now is the time that you start to improve your speed. So if you're doing 100 BPM, within 2 days do 110. 4 days after that, do 120. The average base speed that you should be reaching now is 160 BPM, and that's an absolute must. So you're going to instantly start noticing that your body is trying to change the techniques right after 100 or 110 BPM, and that's completely fine, because it's trying to find out its own way where it can do the same thing at a better speed. But as soon as you change the speed and you try to bring it up, you're going to have smaller spaces to do what you do, and that's why your body is going to try to adjust in its own way to compensate for that. And once you start doing that, you're going to see that it's starting to sound more and more professional. So that's it for today. On the next class, we are going to be back with how to make your composition sound a bit more professional. Till then, take care, practice hard, bye bye.